Welcome to another installment of the APB recap. This is a recap of almost all the hooplas that I discussed on my stream channel. Link down below, go subscribe. Anyway, this recap is a lot longer than I expected, but long form videos are the bomb apparently, so you know what? Let's get into it. There's a brand new FPS coming up called Unrecord, where you are playing as someone through the perspective of a body cam. This is an interesting idea. What's more interesting is that this whole gameplay is apparently not VR. This is apparently supported with the controller, and I do want to see how they're gonna implement that. So yeah, the game looks interesting, but the fact that the game is a body cam thing got a lot of people uncomfortable because there are loads of body cam footages in real life that are just like the game. There's a whole outrage about this debacle, and to me at least, this is like saying found footage movies are real because they look like real footages that people take. I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but this level of realism in video games should be heavily moderated in shooters for anyone under a certain age. You know what? That's true. I wish there's a certain system that lets game developers and publishers to determine the game's intended age demographic. I hope parents do their job. Unfortunately, most of them don't. This level of realism for shooting and killing makes me feel uncomfortable. That comment can also be applied to all sorts of games that make people uncomfortable, but that's not really an excuse to regulate them. It's more just you saying, oh god, this makes me uncomfortable. Then don't play the game. It's not that hard. Another issue that people have is that this bodycam game is a cop simulator. I mean, granted, cops aren't exactly the most popular figure in the community nowadays, but that doesn't mean that their job on paper isn't an honorable thing to do. Yes, their real-life counterparts can be absolute jackasses. That's why fiction exists. It has the capability to engage in scenarios beyond our imaginations, like cops being semi-competent, or communism actually working. And that's all for that hoopla. Let's get to the next one. Elon's Twitter has been nothing but ups and downs. Mostly downs, to be honest. But the one few ups that they have is the tweet context feature, where Twitter just picks all the tweets and provide context for them so that people understand what the hell is going on. Take, for example, tap water, which apparently, according to this tweet, is running through this really disgusting pipe. But it really isn't. It's fake news, according to the tweet context. Remember Samsung S23 Ultra's fake moon? Well, Samsung puts ads on Twitter about it, and even the ads aren't safe from Twitter's additional context feature. I still love the Samsung S23 Ultra. The camera on this phone is nuts. But no, you cannot capture moons like that. Sorry, Samsung. That's just fake news. The most bizarre one happened a couple of weeks ago where someone claimed that spinal fluid is semen. No, really, someone did that. One website says that rice is causing global warming, which is incredibly misleading, according to the Twitter context. Impressively, even the President of the United States is not safe from the wrath of the Twitter additional context feature. Joe Biden claims that he's about as pro-union as he can get. Just saying, if your company has a union, that's a good sign that your management is really bad. And yes, Twitter has to fact check the President of the United States that he has been campaigning against unions in the past, as recent as December 2022. Elon, if you got more and more features like this, maybe you can salvage Twitter so that it is at least slightly more tolerable. But oh well, looks like we're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, especially not when the next hoopla is all about Twitter else. And here's where we get to the next installment of Twitter else. As of late, a lot of people who had the sacred Twitter blue checkmark has reported that they are losing checkmarks. Why are they losing the checkmarks? Because Elon Musk is not managing the platform really well, which is pretty self-evident. At this point, people who have the blue check marks are only going to be the ones actually paying for Twitter Blue, or are being given the privilege by Elon Musk, because apparently some people also got the preferential treatment by him. But we're not going to focus on whether or not people get or not get the check marks. We're going to focus on the people that do get the check marks and for some reason thinks that it's something that they should be proud of. No, I didn't pay for Twitter. I paid for free speech.
You are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
That right there is my favorite quote of this year. And probably my favorite quote of all time. I paid for free speech. I don't understand how you can think that you're living in a capitalist dystopia when free speech is something that you have to pay. Why are you talking as if paying for free speech is a good thing? Don't you think that maybe paying for free speech doesn't make it, you know, free? I paid to tell Silicon Valley to go screw itself. No, you didn't. You paid Elon Musk more money so that he can go screw you even more. I paid to show support for a man who put himself in the line of fire for the First Amendment. No, Elon didn't put himself in the line of fire for the First Amendment. Go ask the people that he fired from Twitter if you don't believe me. Just don't ask the diaper fetishists. I paid because if George Washington was alive today, he'd be paying too. Yes, the founder of America is definitely gonna pay for free speech. You know what's really funny about this whole hoopla? Elmo, a freaking Sesame Street character, is speaking a lot more sense than a lot of these people. All he did was to express his sadness of losing the blue checkmark, which is a much, much better thing to do than being prideful for having a freaking checkmark. Want to see another clown? Don't hate. Remember, non-checker, you are beneath us now. Yes, you heard that right. They invented an entire freaking slur to mean people who don't pay for Twitter. Non-checker. I mean, if you're gonna wear that checkmark with pride, I'm gonna do the same thing. I don't need to spend $8 on this godforsaken website. Entertaining godforsaken website, but still. And that's all for that hoopla. Time to go to the next one. In a recap a while ago, I already talked about Android discrimination and how a lot of Zoomers in America got discriminated because they decided to use the poor man's iPhone, which is apparently Android. Even though Android does at least 90% of what iPhone does for a much cheaper price. I still stand Samsung, even if I have to give a lot of tough love for them. My S23 Ultra is getting a beatdown for their fake moon, and I have to join in the fight. Still, despite iPhone innovating on the industry by removing features left and right, it still can't always win everything. Apple is now allowing side-loading apps from third-party markets like Epic Store or Google Play. This just reminds me so much of the whole Apple versus Epic lawsuit that everyone talked about a couple years ago. I didn't pay attention to who won the whole thing, but it looks like the news have proven to us that Epic won the whole thing. Whatever the result of that fiasco was, there's a bizarre number of Apple fans that are mad because side-loading apps from third-party developers is a thing, I guess. Let's get reading through some of these reasons, shall we? This will be the downfall of iOS and the entire iPhone products, because what I know is iPhone privacy and security features will be compromised. Yeah, remember that time where celebrity nude photos got leaked due to hackers gaining access to the iCloud servers? It's called the fappening. If you look it up, you might be surprised on what Google recommends first. It's uncertain whether the source of the third-party software is safe or not, or whether the third-party software is compatible with iOS. Maybe the system will become laggy. No, the system will become laggy because of many different factors, but that's what I find baffling about iPhone users. They think they are perfectly safe in their Apple ecosystem, when in reality, they are still vulnerable to attacks that are not related to their favorite and super safe and secure operating system, like scammers begging for Apple gift cards.
We only accept Apple cards. We only accept Apple cards. Ma'am, no, 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 no.
That's all for that hoopla. Let's get to the next one. Jobs are very hard to find these days, especially for people who work in the military or the force. Though I can't believe that some people decide to take some drastic choices in what kind of jobs that they want to take. Air National Guardsman arrested after applying online to be a hitman.
You are here, and you're an idiot.
Yes, you heard that right. This person decides to become a hitman, and the best way for him to sign up to become a hitman is to sign up to a fake website. No, really, he did that. He visited a website called rentahitman.com. If that doesn't scream fake to you, boy, you are in for a rude awakening. And he certainly did get his rude awakening when the feds decide to arrest him on this really simple and stupid scheme. I wouldn't be surprised if the whole thing is a scheme by the feds. But don't worry, guys, that's not even the dumbest thing he did. The dumbest thing that he did was the fact that he doxed himself to the website. Yes, that's right. He provided his driver's license from Tennessee, his headshot, and his resume. You'd think that a hitman job would be an anonymous thing because you're gonna do this really inconvenient thing called committing a freaking crime?
Help. Police. Murder.
But nah, apparently if you want to be a hitman like Agent 47, you're gonna have to submit your resume and all your real names. Like Agent 47. That's all for that hoopla. Let's get to the next one. If you are gonna look for a job, you wanna make sure that you don't undervalue yourself. Everyone in this world has at least a valuable skill or asset that they can do to help people and get paid to do so. Not everyone is good for nothing, especially not to the point where you need to choose gang life. Isn't that right, Denzel?
You got a choice. You got talent. You got a chance, and I want to hear about your environment and what your mama didn't give you and the white man won't give you no shot. You got a chance.
I love The Equalizer 2, such a great movie. But hey, just because you shouldn't undervalue yourself doesn't mean that you should overvalue yourself either, because if you do, you'll get this guy. To put a long story short, this person's flight to Vancouver was cancelled and it cost him $10,000. Jeez, what kind of flight did he order that's worth $10,000? Well, not really. He switched from using the plane to using a boat. Granted, the boat tour takes him about 3 hours and 15 minutes, while the plane takes him an hour and 15 minutes. The plane is faster, but at least he saves $60, right? Nope. And let me tell you, I want to know what this guy's smoking because it has to be some really good stuff. I value my time at a minimum $5,000 per hour.
I hate all these damn rich people. These damn rich people. Damn these rich people.
Yes, you heard that right. This guy values his time by $5,000 per hour. I don't even know famous actors that have that salary. I mean, why did he value himself $5,000 per hour? Is that his net worth or his estimated figure? Actually, no, it's simply because he thinks that time is valuable. He just phrases it as if he himself is worth $5,000 an hour. But if time is precious and valuable, I don't know why he limits himself to $5,000. How much would you pay for more time at the end of your life? Personally, I'd pay everything I got just to have more time and regain all the times that I have wasted years before. Which brings me to my very first point. Do not undervalue yourself and do not undervalue the time that you wasted. Even if it's just to, play some... Just got unplugged. Just to play some video games. At least you're having fun at the end of the day. Time is a priceless thing. And for you to put a price of $5,000 on it just shows how little you value it. Oh, and one more thing, you don't have to take the faster option if you don't need to go to the destination sooner. You can choose to save money or save time. It's up to you. Next hoopla. I don't know who this guy is, but I certainly find his takes hilarious. 2 years ago, I talked about one of his amazing takes, which started off with this question. Would you rather get paid $1 million right now or $50 every month for the rest of your life? $1 million right now. Are you nuts? $50 every month for the rest of my life can barely afford me the internet bills. Not to mention, it would take me like 1,000 years before I can get $1 million in total. By then, I'd be freaking dead. And inflation's gonna screw me over and my ancestors as well. And that is assuming that I am gonna have ancestors. I'll probably just gonna die by myself alone. On the other hand, if you're talking about $5,000 a month, now we are talking. Or at least if you don't live in the big cities in America. I'll take option B. That's what passive income is. With all due respect, sir, you're an idiot.
What are you, a moron?
Find a way to make passive income. It'll change your life. I agree with the sentiment, but this is a terrible example. Please do not willingly choose to make $50 a month. That salary is not even good to live here in Indonesia, a third world country, let alone America. This hoopla is so stupid and I'm slurring my words. And then the man of the hour chimes in with his take. B all day. What people don't understand is half of that $1 million will be paid in taxes. Hey moron, that's still $500,000 that you can still invest in all sorts of things. And I love how you say this, implying that the $50 that you get every month is tax-free. Because that $50 a month probably isn't tax-free either. Because the IRS is that greedy.
I'm crazy enough to take on Batman, but the IRS, no, thank you.
$50 a month can be used to pay my cell phone bill, which I'd use to make more money. Hold on a second. You're saying that you cannot live off of this passive income. You have to do other works to live. I mean, passive income sounds amazing and all, but having to get another job alongside my passive income seems like a bit of a work. No pun intended. Oh, by the way, speaking of bad examples, You don't understand scale. Use $50 to buy 10 tomato plants. Plant those to 250 plants. 6 months you'll have 6,250 plants. Plant them. 6 months you'll have 156,000. Plant them. 6 months you have 3.9 million tomatoes. Sell them for $1 each. Yes, that's right. It will take you about 2 years before you can become a millionaire. That is, if you don't spend any money throughout those 2 years. Let's not forget the fact that we have to spend money every day for all sorts of needs like bills or food or taxes or any other necessities. Let's not forget the fact that tomatoes die in about 2 weeks. Let's not forget that there are also farming, gardening, and all sorts of maintenance costs. So while the gross profit might be $4 million, it won't really be worth the hassle if the expenses required for you to live in general and also maintaining the tomatoes, plants, and all that is about, in total, $5 million. That's a $1 million loss every 2 years. Now this is an old take, but believe it or not, he's back again with an even dumber one. One of the most surprising things to me is how entitled people feel to live in a certain city. If you can't afford a city, move. That's right, guys. If you can't afford a city, just move. It's not like there are costs that we need to pay to move all of our stuff. It's not like we need months of research and planning to find the right houses and see if there are plans that we have to cancel that requires us to be in the city. All of that stuff. This is the same energy as if you're hungry, just eat. If you're thirsty, just drink. If you're homeless, just get a job. If you're poor, just get money. My moving costs out of Boston, MA in 2018 were significantly less than the cash I would have needed to sign on a new place there. Gee, the cost of moving stuff out of the house is cheaper than moving to another house in the same city that I'm trying to move out of. Who would have thought? Oh, by the way, this guy's apparently running a sweatshop off of the Philippines. Let's just offshore our labors to workers in third world countries that are paid much less and are treated much less. That certainly won't destroy your reputation or anything like that. But well, what can you do? I know what I can do. That is to move on to the next supla. Here's one bizarre thing that makes no sense in my school. The popularity of ChatGPT has led to a lot of people using it as the go-to shortcut for pretty much all sorts of thesis and assignments and homeworks, which is fine if you only use it as an assistant rather than relying on it wholesale. One of my students in a programming class even used ChatGPT to create a Python program that simply prints hello world. No, really, they had to use ChatGPT for that. So obviously, there's an unspoken rule within the school where students are not allowed to use ChatGPT for their assignments. The teachers, on the other hand, they're allowed to use ChatGPT to make their lesson plans. No, seriously, they can. I didn't, but, well, they can. But hey, I gotta give the teachers some credit. At least they are smart enough to read the content printed by the AI. This picture of a student who got caught in 4K using ChatGPT paints a horrific picture of the education system. You see, the students were assigned to make an assignment to summarize the play Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare. I would have gone to something like Wikipedia or SparkNotes so I can get the most surface level basic understanding of the whole thing and then dive in deeper from there. But thanks to ChatGPT, we don't have to do all that legwork. We can just let the AI to just print everything. And the best part, we don't even have to check their work. We can just copy and paste the result, even if the result says this. I am sorry, but as an AI language model, I am not able to complete this assignment. Yes, you saw that with your own 2 eyes. This idiot is not only using the default Calibri font for the laziest of efforts, but they also copied what the AI said to the user without the user even bother reading the whole thing. Yeah, just throw everything to ChatGPT and it'll all be done, right? But don't worry, guys, it gets worse. If you continue reading the whole paper, you will also notice that the assignments isn't even finished. The AI also prints out instructions in what the user should do. And the user, the student who clearly doesn't read anything being spouted by the AI, just prints it on the assignment as well. Great job, whoever students got caught with this. I hope your remedial scores... Actually, I hope you don't get a remedial for this thing at all. It's best if we move on to the next hopla before it got more and more of Zoomer stupidity. You know, one of the things that baffle me about dating, sometimes being beautiful is less of a blessing and more of a curse, because being beautiful also invites absolute creeps. Some of those creeps do things like sliding to her DMs with some absolutely impolite and inconsiderate messages, door dashing her food anonymously, going to her home completely unannounced to ask her out on a freaking date that she doesn't agree with, gets voodoo magic curse to make her infatuated with a guy and turn her mentally unstable. No, I'm not kidding. That actually happened here. All of these guys made the same mistake. They are pretty much stalkers, basically. Not only that, but they think more about themselves than they do about the girl that they're hitting on. Relationship is a two-way street. If you can't empathize with her and realize that what you're doing is making her extremely uncomfortable, then you're not gonna be able to get her. Plain and simple. Oh, and another common mistake that these guys make, they never ask the girls out directly. Especially that voodoo prick. Here's one example of a guy that doesn't do the most bare minimum. I went to Casa de Reyes for lunch today. It was my last time. Great opening for someone with absolutely zero freaking charisma and zero chance of getting a girl. To put a long story short, this guy found a really attractive waitress named Shahali. She has a good personality and is attractive. This guy tipped her $20 when he ordered his appetizer and told her that was a pre-tip. Guys, if your relationship involves giving lots and lots of money and other worldly materials to a girl, that's not a relationship. That's you being a simp to a gold digger. That girl will not like you because of your personality. That girl will like you because you give them lots of gifts. Sorry to break it to you, man. Anyway, this guy pre-tipped the girl $20 for the experience, not the food. Which is fair enough, I guess. She's a waitress. But the biggest mistake that this guy made was that he was looking forward to some chatting. First off, she's at work, and it's unprofessional and disruptive to do some chatting to a girl that is still at her work. There's a good chance that you'll get them into trouble with her boss, and that will net you a bad impression towards her. Second, you're not making it clear that you want to pursue a relationship with her. By tipping her a lot of money, she only gets the signal that she's really good at her job. Not that you want a relationship with her, which is an entirely different thing. And third, this attitude of yours that you're showing to this whole text, absolutely garbage and an indicative of entitlement and someone who doesn't deserve this woman. Actually, any women in general. I was the only customer in place and was prepared to tip in an additional $20 at least for the experience. Sir, she's a waitress, not a stripper. Here's a customer that has already given you a 59% tip and is willing to give you the same again. And that makes you entitled to her time?
Damn, my nigga. That pussy must be ridiculous.
I realize you are young and attractive and probably hit on constantly. Yeah, and so far you are doing a really terrible job at it. I gotta give credits to the other guys. At least they talked to her directly. However, you are in a customer service job by choice, where you are banking in on your looks and personality along with your job skills to bring in the tips. I swear to God, this person genuinely confuses being a stripper and being a waitress. Your avoidance was bad to you and bad for the business. That $20 pre-tip disagrees. I was not looking for a lap dance. Yes, you are. Yes, you clearly are. How about not treating women like they're all strippers? You're not Usher. Next supla. So a couple of weeks ago, the Act Man was talking smack about the people complaining about the lack of Ashley's panties on Resident Evil 4 Remake. I talk about Ashley's missing panties in another recap if you want to know my take on the whole matter. Point is, this person right here doesn't like the Act Man saying that people who like Ashley's panties and demand to have Ashley's panties in the game are all a bunch of degenerates. Which we are.
Anybody who's against breasts is against life itself.
This person then says that diversity, equality, representation, they all mean the same thing. They do want to take everything away from you guys, the gamers. And I agree. A lot of big game companies are stripping away things that make games in the past to have its charm so that it can be consumed into a more mainstream appeal. Hence why Remake 4 is loved by everyone except the purists who love Original 4. I mean, I don't know. I love Original 4 and Remake 4, and I still want Ashley's panties, which I can get with mods. And so much more. And that makes me happy. But I guess because I am easily satisfied, I am the enemy of everyone. This person then posts a meme involving this woman. I have no idea who that is. I assume she's a feminist of some sort. She says, nobody's gonna take your characters away. Why does it bother you? There's nothing but ugly women in video games. Go watch porn. Funny that you mentioned that because a lot of the recent porn that I see from Resident Evil are the ones featuring the remake character designs. And I love them. I guess screw me for being easily satisfied, right? And yes, I do agree that there is a rather worrying trend of attractive women in video games not existing as much as I want. Wait a second. Why is Lady and Trish from DMC5 there? I mean, have you seen them in DMC5? They're freaking hot. Now, whether you think that they're hot or not is a matter of subjective opinion, to which I personally think they're hot. But your opinion is not the point that I want to make. What matters is how you deal with a differing opinion. Granted, I don't like arguing on Twitter. Twitter is a bad place to have any sorts of good faith arguments. If you want to argue with me, I prefer you guys to hop into the live chat, my stream channel link down below, go subscribe. I fight with the chat all the time on a Q&A session. But man, if you disagree with someone on the internet, hiding the replies is the most coward thing to do, which is what this person did. Even though I actually agree with their general point. The people that this person is hiding, they're all making good points and asking basic questions like, why is Lady from DMC5 in there? If you're gonna answer that she's ugly, just say that she is. Own up to that opinion. If you're not gonna own up to it, you're a coward. If you think that they have a point, man up and admit that you are wrong. If you think that they're wrong, tell them to face that they are wrong. I do not care whatever opinions you have. Whether I agree or disagree with you, if you cannot man up and stand by the things that you said, if you cannot have some balls and admit that you are wrong, you are a coward. It amazes me that the people who are fighting this culture war are adopting the same tactics of each other's opponents, which would have been fine if you adopt the good ones, not the ones that make you look like a freaking chicken. There are absolute chickens on every side of the conversations, and we have to call them out, no matter how many good takes that they got. And that is all for the recap today. Well, that was a pretty long one. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching this long recap. If you like this recap, you can click the like button and subscribe for more for this channel and my stream channel link down below. Go subscribe. And as always, huge thanks to all my Patreon supporters, donators, all of that. If you want to see your names among these awesome people, just $1, that's all it takes. You have contributed so much for this channel. You'll see your names right here. Seriously, thank you so much. And I'll see you all next time.